Welcome to the Empowered Healers podcast, where spiritual leaders, healers, and visionaries come to awaken their gifts, rise into sacred leadership, and step boldly into their divine calling. Today, we're opening the first portal in our September series, and I want you to imagine, just for a moment, that every intuitive nudge, every vision, every dream you've ever had was just a breadcrumb, guiding you back to the truth of who you are. This episode is about unlocking your psychic gifts, not in a flashy fortune teller way, but in a grounded, sovereign, and ancestral way that roots you in your sacred power. Welcome, welcome to the light of September. So before we begin, I'd like you to take a nice deep breath in and out, and to really visualize this upcoming month. We're about to hit a very powerful eclipse season, equinox, and I'm going to say a fast ride to the end of the year. So take your moment now to take a deep breath in, out, connect to your heart, to your vision, to your psychic gifts, to your spiritual gifts, and really connect into what do you want this month? What is this eclipse going to open in your life? And with every ending, there is a new beginning. What is ending? What is beginning? And what is going to eclipse you into the next chapter of your life? Take a breath in and out. I'm going to light our candle. And we're going to dive in to this very powerful topic. Probably one of the most powerful topics that I get. Psychic gifts, spiritual gifts. What are my spiritual gifts? What are my psychic gifts? Well, first thing is, you know what they are. You've had them since day one. People have either embraced them, hated them. You know what your gifts are. Now, whether or not you're owning those gifts, that's a whole nother ballgame. So what is a psychic gift? That's the first topic we're going to really dive into. What is a psychic gift? Psychic gift is something that you were born with that connects you to the spirit world. It could be the sight. You could be a seer, a visionary, a prophet. You are someone who can see beyond the veils. That's probably the most classic psychic gift that most people know and understand. Oh, this person can see my future. Oh, this person knows my past. Oh, they see things in their dreams, right? However, it's not the only gift. Most people who have the seeing abilities also have smelling abilities. They also have hearing abilities. They also have tasting abilities. They also have intuitive, empathic abilities. Psychic gifts come with the 5 senses. So you have 5 physical senses and you have 5 spiritual senses and beyond, right? And so not everybody is a medium. Not everybody is a clairvoyant. Not everybody is a clairsentient. It doesn't exactly work like that. It works in tandem. And I often hear a lot of psychics say, oh, well, I have all the gifts. Well, of course you have all the gifts. Everybody does. But how vast and wide is that range? And how much time have you spent on developing that? That's the bigger question is, yeah, you're born with that. Sure. We all have some psychic gifts. I mean, that's just part of being a human. And our ancestors had them even more because they didn't have technology. They didn't have distractions. They didn't have work as we know it. And they were way more connected to the land. However, in this day and age, we have many obstacles and barriers, including, the things that we eat and ingest in the air, in our foods, in our water. We're bombarded with chemicals and toxins that can block our abilities, and genetics. there's a lot of different things about the psychic gift. So some people have the antenna tuned higher, and some it's barely buzzing. It's barely going. It's there, but it's just kind of, on its last limb. So when we talk about psychic gifts, we're talking about something you're born with that connects you to the other realms, and something that you develop. And the more you develop it, the more attuned it gets, the more stronger it gets, and the more refined it gets, right? So over the years, that's probably one of the main things that people want to discuss is, what are my psychic gifts? How do I turn them on? And I've helped thousands of people over the years to understand who they are, what they are, and how to best develop this. And I always say meditation is the gateway. If you have psychic gifts, you have to make time in your life to do meditations, to do rituals, to attune yourself back to the natural rhythms, to go out into nature, and to find your inner self buried in there somewhere. And the more you can bring that out, the more you can be attuned to the natural rhythms of Earth and to the cosmos and to beyond. Because honestly, the more connected you are to the spirit world, the more disconnected you become to the material world. And that's why you hear a lot of stories of people, oh, for 4 years, I went into meditations, I went to the forest, I went to the jungle, I went to Africa, I went to Asia, I disconnected. And then when they reconnect, it's very hard because you're no longer that same person. And it's not the most practical thing to just leave your life and go into the jungle and live there for years and years and develop your psychic gifts. That's not the norm. But that doesn't mean that you can't develop your psychic gifts even while you're living in the city, even while you're having a 9-to-5 job, even when you're raising your children. It just means you have to carve it out. You have to make the time. The modern day trailblazing warrior, psychic, empowered healer is most likely doing all those things and still making time to work on their inner self and helping others. That's the challenge of this time, the responsibility of this time, and also a calling of this time. It's no longer going off into the temple and the jungle and disconnecting. You can do that periodically. But most modern day spiritual healers, empowered healers, that's not the realistically. I mean, it'd be awesome if it is. It might be a short-lived path. I know I took a big time in my life, 8 years of really disconnecting and going off into the mountains, but having a house, right? And still seeing clients and doing all that, but not engaging in the world. I only engaged in the world when I had to. Like, there are moments you still got to go to the DMV, you still got to go to doctors, you still got to go do those things, but they were just for immediate needs. Like, I had to do those things. That's just what you have to do to live, right? You have to go to the grocery store, you have to go to certain appointments. But for 8 years, my whole life was spirit. It was altar work, it was ceremony, it was seeing clients, helping people. But it was divine. It was going out into nature every day and spending hours upon hours just connecting. And had I not done that, I don't think I could be where I am. I wouldn't necessarily have the same power and gifts that I have now. And that's a lifelong journey pursuit. But I have heard other healers who have also done the same thing, maybe 15 years even, maybe a year, maybe 3 years, maybe 10 years, maybe 6 months, maybe every other, month they go off and they go into a retreat, they go to the mountains, they get out of their norm and into the unnorm. Right? So gifts are remembered, not given. This is spiritual reclamation, is that you remember that nobody can give you these things. I've had so many people over the years and say, well, how much does spiritual training cost? How long will it take? What do I need to do? I wish I could answer those questions, but there's no answer. Okay, this ceremony costs this much. I can answer that. And how much time? Just be flexible. Could be an hour, could be 10 hours. Sometimes we don't know. And how long? Could be a day, it could be 10 years. The spiritual training process is not a set time, money, energy. It's a sacred remembering, and it's a sacred journey, and it's a lifetimes of work. It's not one lifetime. It's not 10 months. It's not 6 weeks. It's beyond those parameters. And when you get into it, that's what you have to remember, is that this is a journey that goes beyond time, money, and energy. It goes beyond those parameters. And you may start on one path, and then it may bend this way, and it may bend that way, and it may bend through all time, space, and dimensions. However, you have to decide you're committed. That's the hardest part of a journey, like the healer's journey. It's not flaky. I've had some clients tell me, oh, I'm a shaman. And the first thing I ask them is, well, how did that become? How did you become a shaman? Who was your teacher? What did they teach you? And sometimes they will look at me like a deer in headlights. No, I had a dream. I was a shaman. Oh, I had a vision. I had a voice tell me. I had a meditation. No. 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 The shamanic path is a series of initiations and power. And in order to have initiations and power means challenges, struggles, and somebody helping you. Otherwise, it's a very hard, arduous journey. Not everybody has teachers, but you need a teacher. Yeah. Nobody gets to where they are without help. You have to have guidance. Otherwise, you don't know what is ego, what is spirit, and you won't be able to navigate those initiations unless you can have a solid helping hand. Someone who knows the path, who's rooted in the path, who's committed to the path, and has walked the path long enough to guide you, and that you trust and feel safe with. And this is a path where ultimately it's you in the spirit world. But in order to get there, you need a human hand who's been there, done that, and can help you. And if you really want to develop your spiritual gifts and psychic gifts, you need that. You do. You need clarity. You need direction. You need guidance. And you need help. So when people tell me I don't have a teacher, I never had a teacher, it's questionable. It is very questionable. Like, okay, then how can you lead somebody if you've never been led? It's something to think about, especially in this modern age, because people also jump teachers like they change their outfits. And you can't really sit and stew in power unless you've actually been built from the foundation up. You can have many teachers. Most people have many teachers, but you should have one foundation, at least, so that you don't go crooked. Okay. So nobody can teach you psychic gifts. They are remembered. They are embodied. We go beyond channeling. We go into embodiment. And the world needs healers to reclaim their intuitive sight right now. We need to go back to these things. We need to go back to the basic primitive nature of intuition, instinct, and moving from a place of stability. This is what is needed right now. And this is why I'm starting this series, because some of the most important, profound questions that I get are about spiritual psychic gifts. And then the next thing that comes with that is confusion, doubt, self-sabotage, and consumerism. Because people want to know, what do I need to do physically? Like, how much money do I need to spend on this? How much time? What tools do I need to buy? What crystal's gonna work for me? What incense, what ritual should I do? What should I light? What should I burn? What should I? Psychic gifts don't care about that. Those are enhancements. Those are tools. They're good to have. But ultimately, you don't have to do anything but say yes and follow the calling. Follow the calling, right? Because when you follow the calling will lead you. When you resist and diminish and self-sabotage, the calling will, just like I was talking to a lady today, and I said, you can help people who want to be helped. You can't help people who don't want to be helped. That's how the spirit world is. If you're working with the right spirits, the right ancestors, the right angelics, the right energies, the right helpers, they will ask, do you want me to help you? Or they won't ask, they'll just wait for you to say, please help me. Now, if you're working with tricksters and crazy spirits, they're not going to help. Just like you're working with tricksters and crazy people in real life, do they ask you, do you want me to help you? No, they intrude. They say, hey, let me do this. I can get you what you want. You just give me this and I'll give you that, this for that. And I'm guaranteed what they give you is not what you want. But what you give them is what they want. They want your life force. They want your energy. They want to waste time. They want to frustrate you. They want to get all that. Because that's food for them. That keeps them embodied. That keeps them strong. That keeps them going. However, when you're working with benevolent spirits, they don't need that. They don't want that. They want to help. It's the difference between genuine help and fake help. Somebody helping you to get what you got is not helping you. They're trying to get what you got. But when you're working with spirits that already got what they want, they don't need anything. They're like, hey, let me help you. Then that's a different energy. That's a different exchange, because they love you. They respect you. They see you're struggling. They themselves may have struggled in that way in their physical lives. And they're like, hey, we see things from a different perspective. Let's see how we can help you. That's the spirit world. Spirit world is vast. It's powerful. And when you have psychic spiritual gifts, you're connected. You're connected. But that connection has to be pure. It has to be untainted. It has to be from a place of love and kindness and compassion and caring. When it starts to become about, what do I get? Give me this, give me that, give, and I'm just getting. Then you have to question what you're working with. And some people don't care. I know that. Some people say, yeah, give me that. But when you're working on an empowered healer's path, a pure path of love and service and legacy, and not a get path, there's reciprocity. There's give and receive. There's a genuine yearning in your soul to serve, to enlighten, to develop, to grow, to leave something better than what was here before. And if you're watching this and if you're seeing this, this is you. You may be afraid. You might be confused. You may have been told you're crazy. You may feel crazy. But ultimately, you are here on a path to really understand yourself on a cosmic level, on an earth level, and on a soul level. And it can be very lonely. And that's why you also need a guide, a teacher, a group, a community, because it can be very lonely. Spirit is beautiful, but it's not physical. You can laugh with spirit, but you might feel crazy because nobody's laughing back with you. You need people who get you. You need people who understand you and that are of a depth and character that can hold you. And that's why they always say space holders need space holders. Healers need healers. You can't walk alone. So your psychic gifts are not something you learn. They are part of your original soul. When you work with the right guide, clear ancestral locks, and engage in ceremony, those gifts will naturally rise to the surface. For many healers, this gift was shut down. Sometimes this lifetime, sometimes other lifetimes, sometimes generations ago. For safety, for survival, you may have shut your gifts down. But in this lifetime, right here, right now, you are being called. You are being called to break that pattern, to reclaim your ancestral roots, to heal, and to share. And if this podcast has stirred something within your soul and you feel ready for guidance, you feel ready for clarity, you feel ready to truly walk your path, then I invite you to one-on-one session, and perhaps there will be an invitation for you to join our sacred community. I look forward to connecting with you more and more. Be sure to leave your comments below on how this message stirred in your soul and what is going on in your world. Don't just be in the bushes. I know a lot of you just watch, but share, engage. Let's get to know each other. Don't put the wall up. Bring the wall down, and let's start really owning these powers, these gifts, these majesties, and connecting human to human, soul to soul, spirit to spirit. I look forward to connecting with you. Until we meet again, my blessings. Ah, hope.